Next for me to come to the stage, hilarious, amazing. Please give it up for Felicia Madison. Everybody, let her hear it. Show her love.
Hey, so fun fact about me, I'm the only Felicia Madison on Facebook. That's white. Yeah, I was born Felicia Joy Madison, and I got married, and the joy left my life. I became Felicia Madison Levy. Don't really like Levy. I particularly hate that people are always asking me how to spell it. They're like, is it an I or a Y? I'm like, really? It's a Y. Jewy. Now my initials are FML. Yeah, so I am a white Jewish girl from New Jersey, so it's very difficult for me to do comedy because there's nothing original about me. I've been done a lot. But my grandparents were immigrants, which is why I ended up with a last name like Madison. Yeah, my parents came here. They weren't educated. They didn't have money. They really wanted us to succeed and go to college. Yeah, they said we could do whatever we want as long as we're doctors and lawyers. So I studied hard. I went to a good college, and I succeeded the old-fashioned way. I married my boss. I didn't marry my boss. He wouldn't leave his wife. But don't judge. Back then, it wasn't sexual harassment. It was a weekly review. Yeah. Just my luck. I'm finally in a career where I can just sleep my way to the top, and it's not allowed. But I'm happy this Me Too women movement, now for my daughters, now they'll never find a husband. They use these dating apps. They pick out their boyfriends. Like my daughter, she can't even pick out a melon. How is she gonna pick a husband? And I'm like, they use Bumble, where the girl could contact the guy first, right? I came up with an app called Momble, where I pick out the app for her. I don't understand these. They have like J-Date, right? It's now J-Swipe. I'm like, really? Like, what's the point? Brown hair, brown eyes, big nose. Brown hair, brown eyes, banker. Bald, brown hair, banker. I mean, they just need to list 3 things, right? His income tax return, his height, and his real height. Yeah. I did end up marrying a really rich, nice guy. But it was hard work. It took me 3 years to get him to propose to me. Yeah, and I had to be in my best behavior that entire time. Cooking, cleaning, swallowing. I'm kidding. I'm a nice Jewish girl. I don't clean. Yeah, so I got married and I had kids. They told me having kids was the best job in the world. I'm like, really? If it was the best job in the world, a man would have it. Parenting's different now, though, when it was back then. My mom always saying, it's so hard raising kids now. Yeah, that generation was so laid back, they had to be reminded to look for us. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? I'm like, I know where my kid is every second of the day. She's making a left on 97th and 5th in her Uber right now. And disciplining, all my mom had to say was, wait till your father gets home. And we were frightened, right? Yeah, my husband, he can't yell, he can't hit. The best I can do is, wait till Dad gets home. I'm sending him in for another long, boring conversation. My son, he looks at me and goes, Mom, please, just hit me. I got the silent treatment growing up. My kids got the, oh my God, can you shut up already treatment? Yeah, my dad used to yell things like this when we left the lights on in the house. He would say, what, do you guys own stock in the electric company? I can't say that because my kids do. Kids don't run away from home anymore, as my parents called it, play outside. Yeah, my kids don't run away because we have a really amazing family plan. Yeah, and they're my friends, and we know how to find our friends, don't we? My mom would punish us by saying, go to your room, and don't come out till you're ready to apologize. My kids would never come out. Yeah. I always came out right away because I had left my phone in the kitchen attached to the wall. My parents measured our growth on the wall, right? I do that too. I'm like, you see this notch? That's where I threw the Game Boy at him. There's the iPhone. And that's the Apple Watch. And that one was really upsetting because it was mine. Yeah, they say to give these kids unconditional love. I'm like, really? We give them unlimited data. Isn't that enough? So luckily, my youngest one is going to college soon. We're looking at colleges. Yeah, we went to this really elite private school, like Ivy League, whatever, upstate somewhere. And we sat in this information session, and they were trying to convince us to send our daughter to this gorgeous, beautiful, elite school. I'm like, that's like me bumping into Bradley Cooper and him trying to convince me to go on a date with him. I'm like, you had me at shallow. And then we went on the tour, and they said if your child is nervous to walk home alone late at night, she can call this number, and we'll arrange to have her walked home by a football player. I was like, excuse me, isn't that what I'm worried about? And they're like, oh, don't worry, we'll send 2 football players. I'm like, that does not make me feel better. But can I have the number? So I'm on this tour with this guide, and she's walking around with a huge bottle of water. I mean, like, huge bottle of water. I'm like, are we going through the desert? Is there a train ride in our future? Too soon? Now, and I realized, it occurred to me that this generation, they're not gender fluid or sexually fluid. They're just filled with fluid. It's like, stop drinking already. Now, I can make that joke because my youngest is a they. Yeah, she has multiple personalities. None of which I like. Yeah, what can I tell you? Oh, and then the other thing that's going on, it's gonna be really hard for her to get into college because I can't bribe my way in. But I'm really proud of Lori Loughlin, right? It's about time a mom got credit for their hard work. Yeah, but it is hard. There's this whole thing, I'm sure a lot of moms out here, right, you're familiar with this whole like extra time thing. Right? Like everyone's getting extra time for homework, tests, SATs. It's got a little out of control. Like the other day, I went to my doctor for my colonoscopy. He's like, usually this takes 90 minutes, but I get extra time, so it's gonna be 3 hours. Some of the people in the audience needed extra time for that joke, I could tell. Yeah, Yeah, so what can I leave you with? So I read the other day that 30% of the women in the United States are on antidepressants. Wow. Yeah, which means 70% of the women in the United States are depressed. It's pretty good news. Pretty good news. I'm addicted to Ambien. Anyone? No. I always have to explain to the young people what Ambien is. I'm like, Ambien's what you take when you realize your dreams aren't coming true. I love it when I tell people I'm addicted to Ambien. They always say the same thing to me. Have you tried melatonin? I'm like, really? That's like saying to someone that's addicted to crack, have you tried tea? So I tried these patches. They're have lavender patches, and you put them on your feet, and you sleep with them, and they really work after you take 2 Ambien. Yeah, so what can I'm married. I've been married 27 years. Yeah, I got married when I was 10. People are always giving me advice, and I always say the secret to a happy marriage is communication, not verbally, only through text or email. This way you have proof that you told them. Yeah. And someone said to me, if you want to keep your husband from having an affair, you should give him a blowjob every morning. I said, he can have the affair. That is not a good trade. Anyway, I'm Felicia Madison, the White One. Thank you.
Felicia Madison.